All right. all right. Hey, how's everybody doing? I know that a lot of you are watching the Super Bowl. I won't judge, but I've been pretty much done with the NFL after Colin Kaepernick's whole debacle. But that's just me, apparently, because everybody's talking about the football game all the way across my timeline, and that's cool. Again, no judgment. Hell, we're in the middle of a pandemic. People need something to hold on to, something to root for. It is what it is. But I thought I would go live anyway, and then you guys watching the game, you can watch this later, and I'll check the comments and we can discuss it. Then afterwards, and like I said, it is what it is. But so I wanted to, particularly after the election, I wanted to discuss some things that black people need to rethink, that black people need to reevaluate, because we tend to be a loyal people, and we give people a lot of loyalty, a lot of dedication, and we don't get it back. So there's some things that I think we need to rethink, and most of those things are relationships that we have. And so I'm going to go through those in another Black Top 10, 10 things that Black uh, Americans need to rethink. Number one, as I mentioned, I started thinking about this after the election. So number one is the Democratic Party. We need to rethink that because we have been loyal to them for over 60 years, or about 60 years now. We've been loyal to them for about 60 years, and they've been loyal to us for about nothing. They have no loyalty to us. They don't love us. They probably look at us and go like Snoop. They're like, we don't love them hoes. We in this last election, most groups gave about 50% of their vote, maybe less. We gave 90% of our vote. But everybody else is lined up ahead of us to get benefits. The LGBT, they're getting benefits. Illegal immigrants who can't even vote, didn't even vote, don't even pay taxes, they're getting benefits. And Asians. I mean, how did that work? You talk about racial bias, and Asians come to mind. Really, 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 Biden. Um, so I think that we need to rethink our relationship with the Democratic Party. Now, no, I'm not saying, oh, everybody go, let's jump over and become Republicans. What I'm saying is that we need to start using our vote as a block. Some people suggested that we do that, and people got mad. People were like, "Oh, well, you must be a Republican. You must be a Trump supporter." And we got to do better. We got to do better than that. We got to do better than just assuming that if someone is uh, is opposed to whatever the status quo is, which in this case is support for the Democratic Party, we have to stop assuming that that means they don't like black people, they aren't in aren't standing in the best interest of black people. We need to rethink our relationship with the Democratic Party because they take us for granted a lot, and they're pretty comfortable with that. So whether rethinking our relationship with them, it may mean jumping to the Republican Party, maybe jumping to an independent party. It may mean holding our vote as a block so that we actually get something, which I know we said do that and people called us Trump supporters. But we got to do better because we had a whole black president that people loved for 8 years, and we really didn't get a lot. It just looked good. It was a good look, but we didn't get a lot because he kept saying they'll block me, they'll block me. Well, these Democrats now who are in the Oval Office, they have full control of two branches of government: the executive branch and the legislative branch. They've got full control of Congress. They have no excuses as to why they can't deliver on some of the things that it's clear we need. I mean, you did an executive order to deal with racial bias for Asians. You couldn't go Asians and blacks. You couldn't do an executive order, issue an executive order so that these cops will now be prosecuted and get off our asses. I'm just saying we give you a lot, Democrats. We expect something in return. So that's number one. Number two, blacks need to rethink their unity with other communities because, again, like with the Democratic Party, we're loyal, but we're not getting anything in return. Look, the LGBT community demanded that we support gay marriage. They demand this, they demand that, but we don't get anything from them. We don't get anything. I mean, if you talk to some black gays, they're being discriminated against by white LGBT members, particularly people in the organization called GLAAD. So I'm just like, what are we getting from having an alliance with the gay community when, we're not getting anything? We need to rethink that relationship. We need to rethink our relationship with Hispanics, particularly when we start talking about a black-brown unity. In a lot of places, that just does not exist, particularly in the Southwest portion of the country where those people will openly show disdain to blacks. I mean, here in LA, hell, they took Watts. And if we go to Watts, we get shot at. They took Compton. I mean, parts of it anyway. I'm just saying there's a lot of hostility. There's hostility on the streets. There's hostility in the prisons. If you roll down the street and you see people working on the street and they are Hispanic crews, they're hiring other Hispanics, not us. So, and this isn't about hate. This is about, dedicating ourselves to other people and saying that we support you and standing in solidarity with them, but not getting anything in return. So these other groups, we need to stop that. I mean, Italy got in trouble and black people were putting the Italian flag all over social media. Hell, we've been getting shot in the street like dogs. They're not flying the red, black, and green, the black liberation colors in Italy. They're not doing that. So I'm just saying, blacks need to be for blacks. Rethink our alleged unity with other communities. So that's number two. Number three, this is a big one. Black women are going to get mad. I don't care. We need to rethink our relationship with feminism because that's a bad situation. Preston James, what's going on, big brother? How you feeling? That's a really bad relationship. When the black community rose up with a great deal of unity in the 50s, 60s, and into the 70s, the white feminists looked at that and they saw us working together. And they said, hey, well, look, we could use those black women for our cause. And they did. So they did a number on a lot of black women who started calling themselves feminists. But there are two problems with that. Number one, feminism doesn't give a shit about black women. Let's just be real about that. And we saw that with Breonna Taylor because, we didn't see, any huge group of white feminists who were like, oh, justice for Breonna Taylor. We've got to blah, 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 blah. It's not happening. And if, there were true loyalty of feminism and the feminist community to black women, they would be pounding hard anytime there's some injustice done to black women. And then, even if part two, and I'm going to get to part two, even if part two continues to exist, I would still be like, okay, black women are getting something out of it. But by and large, the feminist community doesn't give a damn about black women. And then the second part of it is that feminism is really all about the issues that white women have with white men. So when a black woman adopts feminism and comes at black men, it sounds really crazy. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear that. You know, you think, oh, you hate women, you hate women. Stop saying that shit because you sound stupid. Because most black men love black women. Sure, we got some dudes out there who are psychotic and crazy, but there are some psychotic and crazy women too who also hate black women. But by and large, black men don't hate you. Black men want to support you. We love you. And most of us who get married, we marry you, you know, the whole shot. But feminism has given you some of you has given some of you some really strange ideas about the relationship between black men and black women. And so you have to rethink that relationship, black women, rethink the relationship with feminism, and perhaps create something that is just for black women. And I'll be the first one to stand in line and support that, because I think a lot of what we're dealing with in our romantic relationships and familial relationships and just friendships, a lot of the issues we're dealing with don't even belong to us. These are issues that come from other communities, particularly comes from the white community. We just don't have all those issues, but now we do. We have all. I mean, think about it. Before like the late '70s, black men and women weren't at each other's throats the way we are now. And you talk to a lot of black women out there today, and they think that black men are just the shit off of their shoes. I mean, you hear some of the things that are being said, and it isn't real. It's from propaganda. It's from feminist propaganda, because, you know, they were told that feminism was going to empower them, and it has not. What it has done, it has given them a false sense of reality, of a false sense of their relationship with black men, and a false sense of what black men are actually doing. And that's why we hear, you know, since the, you know, we heard since the '80s, we heard the, oh, I'm an independent woman, I don't need a man. Black women never said that bullshit. That just wasn't your thing. Of course you need us. We need you too. We need each other. But that became popular. I don't need a man. I can do it all by myself. I'm an independent woman, you know. And now, you know, it's fastly becoming the new slogan is, you know, to I need a provider. It's like, make up your mind. You don't need us, but you need us to pay for everything. Like, come on, make up your mind. And then a lot of really minor propaganda comes from the feminist movement. Again, I think that black women should look at the things that they need, and then have a black woman's movement, and then we can talk those issues out. Because most of that stuff. I'm thinking that old, what's that old song? I think it was Teddy Pendergrass said, no, it wasn't. Somebody help me out. The song is "Where Did We Go Wrong?" With love. Jeffrey Osborne, and LTD. That's it. Where did we go wrong? With love, maybe we can fix it. You know, that's where we are, black women. Let feminism go. Get your own movement, a black woman's movement, and I think the majority of black men are they're gonna rock with you. So that's number three. Number four, interracial relationships. Look, if you meet and fall in love with someone who is in another racial group, it is what it is. No one can be mad at you, because love is love. You find love wherever it is, and that's okay. But if you are doing it because you have issues with black people, you got to stop that. You got to stop that. It's bad for you and it's bad for that person. It's disingenuous to, paint all people on either side to say that, well, black men ain't shit, so I'm going to go get a white man because they treat you right. That's bullshit on both sides. There are a lot of, really, really dope ass black men out there who are single and who are looking for black women. And there's some demonic ass white dudes that you'll go get thinking that you got your, thing on a string, and it'll just be, a bad situation. So we gotta rethink interracial relationships. Like I said, if you fall in love with someone because you just that's where you are, love is where you find it. That's okay. But if you're going outside of the race and creating, the swirl as they call it, if you're going outside of the race and creating an interracial relationship because you have problems with black men or black women, you got to change that. Stop that. You need to rethink that. That's number four. Number five, Black women. Now, again, I talk about propaganda all the time, but I think that even black women have black women twisted, right? I mean, don't really understand each other, going at each other's throats, just saying crazy shit. We got to stop that. Black men who don't understand. I've heard, and some people, they were actually friends of mine in my fraternity even, and I had to delete them off Facebook because some of these dudes, these bitch made dudes, are like, oh, black women ain't shit and blah blah blah, and Daryl, because you're hard on them. No, I'm hard on them with what I perceive as reality that some black women are doing, and you'll never hear me say all black women are anything except beautiful. You know what I mean? But a lot of black women have some hardcore issues with black men, and they have some hardcore issues with themselves. When I was doing another live and I was talking about why people are single, one of the biggest reasons a lot of these sisters are single is because they're listening to other sisters who are hating on them, hating on the brother for sure, trying to break them up, but hating on the sister because they're like, shit, I don't need her to be happy because I'm not happy. So let me go ahead and cut that. So we got to rethink black women. You know what I mean? Black women have to rethink themselves. They have to reimagine what a black woman is because all of this wild shit with tattoos and your titty, all this wild ass shit that you're doing with your hair, and the eyebrows that look like commas or quotation marks or just some weird shit. Just some of the things that you're doing and pulling your ass out and twerking every 5 seconds. You got to rethink that because that's not even who you are. Black women in America, black women in history throughout antiquity have been dignified and beautiful, have set the fucking standard for beauty, dignity, and majesty. And over the last 20 years, it's been a shit show. You know, I'm just I'm just keeping it real. Hate me, I don't care. Hate me by my name, Daryl James, right? But when you have a situation where the it's like a race to the bottom, like trying to be the worst that you can possibly be, fighting in public. I mean, some of these sisters, and again, I'm not saying all. I'm just saying there are enough um, that it's a problem. We have to, re-embrace public dignity because, black women, not just black people, but specifically black women, used to be the actual moral compass for the nation. Black women, because they were so dignified and poised and enduring and beautiful while under pressure. People treated them like lumps of coals, and they were diamonds. And so we have to reimagine what black womanhood is. Black women have to rethink their relationship with themselves, which is, who are you? How do you walk down the street? How do you carry yourself? How do you talk to other people? How do you deal with people? Because a lot of sisters just, they're not kind. They're not kind. And they're wondering why, especially a lot of sisters over 40, they're wondering why they're unable to find decent relationships. And so they try to pretend that there's some shortage of black men. There is not. The problem is that a lot of single people over 40 are just fucking trash. And, they may look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, it's bad. And it's because what you feed yourself. Feeding yourself fast food, that's a problem. Feeding yourself propaganda instead of reading books that will nurture your mind. You're watching bullshit on TV, these reality shows, and you start thinking that that's real, and you're paying attention to what entertainers are doing so you can come at black men with, some of the same things. And that's not even you. It's not you. And then you start saying you're old school. Well, you're a damn lie because you're lying on our grandparents. Our grandparents, our grandmothers were beautiful. And I'm not saying some of them, some of them might have been hoes and some of them might have been, little thugettes who like to fight, but they weren't running down the street with that. They weren't running out in the street looking, somebody look at them and they drop it like it's hot, the bust it challenge. I'm gonna bust this thing open and just twerking and just Come on, black women, that's not you. You know, I don't know how it got. Well, I do know how it got there, but yeah, I don't know how it got in so quick and just became just so widespread. But black women, you really need to. And I'm not asking black men to do this because we can't tell you what to do, and we can't make you do anything. So black women have to do it. You have to rethink who you are and rethink your relationship with yourselves. That's number five. Number six, black men. Black people have to rethink their relationship with black men. Some of the most horrible shit that's said about humanity is said about black men, and it ain't even true. I mean, look, over the last 20 years, the three biggest things that have been said, especially when black women want to say that there's a shortage of men, the three biggest things that they say are ugly as shit and lies. That there are more of us in prison than college, damn lie. More a growing number of us who are down low, damn lie. And our love for white women, damn lie. It's like we got to stop saying all these things about ourselves and about each other. And black men, we got to do a better job of starting to protect us and who we are. We let people say anything about us, and then we rock with it. You know, like I said on one of the other shows, even something like being homophobic. You listen to some brothers and they're like, "Yeah, black men, yeah, we homophobic." We just stop repeating shit because somebody said that. To you, and stop trying to curry favor with the sisters by saying, yeah, these brothers, they ain't shit, sister, blah 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 blah. Like, no, it's not true. Al Austin, what's up, frat? How you feeling, brother? It's not true. Black men are dignified, just like I talked about how dignified and beautiful black women are. Black men are dignified and beautiful too, but we've allowed propaganda to come in and we start repeating that bullshit. We have base behavior. I don't know how we got from. Now, I'm not going to go back and talk about, oh, we need to wear suits because that our culture in this country is moving away from that. You know, to be honest. So it's not about wearing suits, but I don't know how we got from dressing and being the flyest group of people setting fashion trends to wearing our entire ass out. Brothers, what is that? Stop it. Cause now you're passing that to your children, right? And it's not cool. And it went from like the 80s and 90s sagging a little bit, and maybe you saw some boxers kind of, pulled out of the pants, the part that was sagging. But now some of you dudes are just straight bitches. You just punk ass bitches to walk out there with your ass. You got some tight drawers on and you pull your pants down so people can see it. That's not us. That's not us. That's not a fashion trend. That was jail business. So you could let somebody know it was cool to come get that ass. How did you black men, how did you allow that to now define you? Stop it. Stop it. So, black men, we have to rethink our relationship with black men. We have to define ourselves. We have to be able to say, no, this is who we are, and then exhibit that. So that's number six. The next thing on the things that black Americans need to rethink is sex. Look, sex is how we get here. It's how we, promulgate the race. That's how we, survive, right? And that's cool. But we have gotten to the point where we're so far out of control with what we say and do in public, we're in trouble. Some of y'all are just nasty as shit. How did we go from not really even talking about oral sex to talking about licking ass? I had to just let that marinate for a minute. There are literally public conversations about licking ass to the point some of you nasty people are so comfortable with it that you go on first dates and talk about licking ass. That's not us. Now, if you're in your bedroom in private with your whoever, lick that ass if that's what you want to do. But why are you running out in public talking about it? To the point where now black men and women go on dates, and these sisters are like, if you ain't licking, you ain't sticking. And you got to lick everything. And I'm like, I'll kiss you after saying some shit like that. Like, how do we get so wild? How do we get to the point where we're just out here acting like AIDS, herpes, what do you call them, quarantine bay, and we're rocking out here without protecting ourselves. I can't tell you over the last 20 years how many women I've gone on dates with only to be invited to have sex the same night and being told, oh, you don't need a condom, I'm good, I got this. No, you ain't good. Black men, black women, we gotta take it back. So that's another thing that we need to rethink our relationship with sex. Number 8, and I know I'm gonna step on some feet, step on some toes, and I'm okay with that. Number 8 is health. Now I'm gonna start with the most offensive, and then I'll go to what is most actually productive. Black women, stop saying that you're healthy. If you're over 200 pounds and you ain't over 5'10", it's not healthy. Now, maybe you don't currently have a health condition, but if you are super heavy, and I'm saying over 200 to be polite, let me not be polite, and let me deal with the real, which is that the overwhelming majority of Americans are obese. The overwhelming majority, I think it's over 60% of Americans are obese. And then another a huge portion of that 60%, they are morbidly obese. Now, morbidly obese, which should let you know that you should stop saying you're healthy. Morbid obesity is when you are so obese that you start to have health problems that create literally morbid circumstances. Like you can die. We're talking about hypertension, diabetes, kidney problems, the whole shot. We've got to get to the point where, I mean, and look, I'll say this: some of you big sisters are beautiful, so big and beautiful. I get it, I get it, absolutely, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And we gotta stop saying it. So when brothers in the 80s, when we first started saying thick, we were talking about a sister got a little meat on her bones or whatever, but it's still good, right? And so now we see sisters who are like 300 plus pounds calling themselves thick. Nah, some aren't, and you got to get it together. You got to get it together because black people are dying. We're dying of hypertension and cancer. And sisters, you got fibroids from eating improperly and from a number of other things. And we have, again, hypertension and diabetes are coming to get black people in greater numbers than any other group. And it's because, number one, it's because of our weight, but it's also because of how we eat. And I'm not about to, Terrence Shedrick, what's up, Moni? How you doing, brother? I'm not about to get on this kick about, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that. That's not my thing. Slave food, don't. That's stupid. That's bullshit. You can eat good food that you like in moderation. I'm not about to get into a whole slave food situation because black people have done some miraculous, ingenious, and wonderful and beautiful things with food that are delicacies in other countries now. Chitlins are delicacies in other countries. People love eating ribs, and so that's not. I'm not gonna bang on that. I'm banging on, you know, you got to do vegetables. You got to do fruits. You got to take vitamins. In fact, I think I'm gonna do a live because I shared with you guys on one live. I brought out my shoebox, which was full of herbs and vitamins because I'm really on top of it as far as that's concerned, especially the older I get. So I think I'm gonna do a live where I'll share with you, not giving health advice because I'm not a health professional, by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been taking herbs to deal with my health for 30 plus years. And it's working. So, yes, I think we'll do that. But let's get our health together, Black people. Let's rethink. That's number 8. Let's rethink our relationship with health. And you can still, which is what I'll do. I'll share with you when I go live about our health and our natural ways to deal with our health. You can still eat good food. You can still, have fun. You don't have to go out here and become a strict vegan and never eat anything delicious ever in life. We can do this. We can be healthy and have a cool situation where we can uh, live longer. Number 9. This is probably gonna piss some people off too. I'm okay with that. Entertainers, Black people, we have to change our relationship. We have to rethink our relationship with entertainers. We look up to them, and that's a problem. But also, we start to take whatever they're doing and we try to give it a universal application, and that's wrong. So, for example, I talked about some of the things that Black women say that Black men are doing. Well, they're not really saying, or that they are saying that, all or most or whatever, but that's not what they see. They see entertainers doing it. They see, for example, a lot of Black celebrities with white women. So they start saying, "Oh, these Black women, they just love white women." Stop looking at what these entertainers are doing as some sort of standard, because most of them are just some weird ass people anyway. But also, there are somewhere around 45 million African Americans in this country. There are somewhere around 5,000 or less celebrities at any given moment. That's just what it is. So to try what 5,000 people do and apply it to 45 million, 21, almost 22 million Black men, that's a problem. Let's leave these celebrities alone. They're not role LeBron James, him just because that's my cousin. No, I was going to mention him because that's a beautiful story that this he's like a stellar father, creating situations where he can, help bring children. He's, trying to bring children forward. He's doing a lot of good stuff in the community, but that's not everybody. Some of these celebrities ain't shit, and it's okay for them to be ain't shit. We have no business paying so much attention to them. So let's rethink our relationship with celebrities, with entertainers in general, because some of the stuff that they say and do. I mean, think about the average punchline of a Black comedian who really just isn't very good. Malik Muhammad, what's up, frat brother? How you feeling? The average Black comedian who isn't very funny and isn't very witty, their go-to joke is white people do blah 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 blah, which is everything perfect, and niggas be so basically their joke is how beautiful white people are and how fucked up niggas are. Niggas, not Black people, not African American, niggas. That's a problem. So I'm just saying, with entertainers, athletes, and entertainers, we have to rethink our relationship with them, because I would rather follow a high school principal, right? These are people that my son thinks are superheroes. My son thinks firefighters are superheroes, not rappers, not ball players, even though he wants to play ball. These are the things that we have to do. We have to reclaim who we are. So that's number 9. The top 10 things that Black Americans need to rethink. We need to rethink our relationships with entertainers. If you're watching on Facebook, even if you're watching later, because I know some people are doing the Super Bowl. If you're watching on Facebook, like and share, like and share. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that bell so you'll get the notifications when I'm going live. Here's number 10. Number 10, this is really going to hurt some people. Black people need to rethink their relationship with religion. Now, that doesn't mean leave religion alone. Doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean leave God alone. Doesn't mean that at all. It means stop being snobs. Stop beating people over the head with whatever you believe in. Because you're full of shit when you do that. You're the worst Christian, the worst Muslim, the worst Hindi if you are shaming people for not believing what you believe in. If you really want to share, share it with people, number one, who are open, okay? But also share it with people who could really benefit from it. But shaming each other, I'll give you an example. And, black women ain't gonna like this, especially black female Christians. One of the biggest things that divides us is that a lot of sisters over the last 30 years, it's really gotten uglier as we've gone downhill as far as our morality. If you say you're not a Christian, some of these sisters won't even look at you again. Now, they might be trying to head on it. They might be tooting. They might be whatever. But if you ain't a Christian and going to church, and we got to stop that because there are some people who are very immoral, who may believe they might be Christians or Muslims and just don't go to church or the mosque on a regular basis, or Jewish or Hindi. We got to stop that. We have to be able to look at people as individuals and say, okay, let me see what you're doing in your life. Let me see what kind of person you really are, and then I can actually say if I want to be with you, if I want to be your friend, if I want to support your business. But we got to stop using religion as a weapon. We have to be able to accept each other for wherever we land, because in other races they do it. I mean, you see Jews and Christians and Jews and Muslims and Christians and Buddhists, but in our community, whatever we are, if you're not that, we shame you. We shame the other person who isn't whatever we are. And we gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop doing that. So anyway, that was my top 10 list of Black Americans rethink, and I'm sure there's some other things that we can put on that list that would make a whole lot of sense, and we can expand it from 10. But that's my top 10 list. Add to will, and then continue after the live is done, especially when people stop watching, when they finish watching the Super Bowl. Anyway, people who are watching, let's share, like, and share. I'll see you in the next one. I think I'm going to do the one on health really, really soon. Okay? All right. I'm Daryl James. This is The Bridge. Thank you. Peace. I'm out.